G'day guys and welcome back to Montage Sports, and today I'm coming out with another tips video. Today I'm doing my round 3 AFL tips, and it should be a very interesting round, a couple of massive games this week, and I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy, and why don't we get straight into it. So starting off with the first game of the round, we've got Thursday night footy between the Western Bulldogs and the Sydney Swans at Marvel Stadium, coming to you 7:20 Eastern Standard Time. And it's going to be a massive game. Obviously, the Dogs, at the moment, they are 0-2. The Swans, on the other hand, they're 2-0, so it's going to be interesting. And based on that, I'm going to go with the Sydney Swans by 31 points, and what should be a bit of a blowout margin for the Sydney Swans. And, Dogs are 0-3 after this performance, I reckon. They were in the grand final. Obviously, they lost that by a fair margin, and they've come up with against some big teams. Obviously, the Swans, the D's, the Blues last week was a bit of an upset. Obviously, the Carlton Blues, they haven't won many games in the last couple of years, but very interesting last week. They did play well, just obviously their accuracy in the dying minutes of the game cost them. And yeah, that is my prediction. I reckon Lance Franklin will play a pretty good game after last week. Obviously, I think his 1000th goal, and it was a beauty. It was awesome to be a part of, and it was really good to see the crowd run onto the field, because that was pretty cool to watch. It might be the last time it ever happens, hopefully not, but I think it probably will be. Lance Franklin, obviously, I said before, I reckon he'll shine. I reckon Isaac Heaney, Luke Parker coming off really good performances. I reckon they will play really well as well, so that'll be an interesting game to watch on Thursday night. Friday night footy, the first of 2 games of the Melbourne Demons taking on the Essendon Bombers at the MCG, and this will be another interesting game. I'm going to go the Melbourne Demons to my 28 points in what should be a bit of a fizzer. The Demons and the Bombers, massive game usually, but I reckon the D's will get home quite comfortably. Obviously, Christian Petrarca, Clayton Oliver will start. I think that they're 2 great players. I reckon they will play very well against a bit of a weaker side like the Bombers. And I reckon Ben Brown, this is his week. I reckon he'll kick it back, and I reckon he will play a really good game. Now, on the weekend, Melbourne's Gold Coast, Jake Bowie, surprise star in that game, 125 odd fantasy points. He was in my team. He played really well. Jake Bowie's an underrated player. He's a very interesting player to watch, so I reckon he'll do really well. And the Essendon Bombers, obviously 0-3, yeah, struggling early, but they've played 3 massive sides like Geelong, Brisbane and the D's, so watch out for them, because they will be coming back later in the year. Now for the second game of Friday night, we have got the showdown. Port Adelaide taking on Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval. Massive game. I'm going to take the Port Adelaide Power to win by 3 points in what should be a showdown for the age. It's going to be an absolute classic. 2 terrible starts for both South Australian teams. Obviously, Adelaide have lost to the Dockers, and they have also lost to the Pies. 2 mid-range teams, and Port Adelaide, obviously, they got absolutely thrashed by Hawthorn last week. It was a massive upset, and they lost to the Brisbane Lions up at the Gabba in round 1. So 2 teams struggling early, both trying to break out and win their first game for the season, and it should be interesting to watch, because it's going to be a very good game. Crows look good again, but fall away. They will play well until the last quarter, when they'll just fall away. They kind of they play a good 3 quarters, and then they just fall away. They just I don't know, but it's kind of like they play 3 good quarters, they get fatigued, they get tired, a bit like West Coast, and they just fade. But yeah, Port Adelaide with 3 points, which should be a good game. Greater Western Sydney versus Gold Coast Suns, and obviously a massive upset last time they played each other. The Suns winning by 1 point at Mars Stadium. And Saturday Arvo footy, I'm going to go with the Suns to win by 2 points in what should be a massive upset. It's going to be massive for the Gold Coast Suns. They're young Suns, the young players, they look great, they look really good. They've got a strong young core. They're going to have a successful few years, the Gold Coast Suns, and I think they have a massive upset. And this is another team that's 0-3, the Greater Western Sydney Giants. They have another terrible start. They had a terrible start last year. They lost the first 4 games, something like that. They're going to have another terrible start this year, and I think they will come back in the next couple of weeks and months, and I'm really looking forward to seeing both of these teams play, which is going to be very interesting to watch. Geelong versus Collingwood at the MCG, Saturday twilight. I'm going to go with this Geelong Cats with my 17 points. bit of a comfortable win for the experienced Cats, and it's going to be a very entertaining game. The Collingwood Magpies, I think they will play the full 3 quarters hard, and then they will just fade in the last quarter. But they're either going to fold late. The young Pies, they're not very experienced. They got a couple of debutants. They got a couple of players that have only played a couple of games. Brisbane Lions versus North Melbourne Kangaroos, Saturday night footy. Obviously, the Brisbane Lions took them by 67 points. Now, obviously, North Melbourne, they played a depleted West Coast Eagles side last Sunday, and they did not look very good. It was kind of like a kick-to-kick sort of game when West Coast would kick it into their forward line, North Melbourne would kick it out, and West Coast would kick it back in again. Turnover after turnover, they couldn't get it out, and they looked really bad. They only won by 15 points, but it was a pretty much unlosable game for them. Lachie Neale is going to be unstoppable. He was on fire against the Bombers on Saturday Arvo. He literally had about 40-odd disposals, kicked 3 or 4 goals, and he was just unstoppable. He is going to be best on ground. He's going to play really well. And, yeah, experienced Lions, they dominate. Obviously, Lachie Neale, Joe Danaher, Jared Lyons, Dane Zorko, they're all going to play really good games. Now, Sunday afternoon footy, we've got the Carlton Blues taking on the Hawthorn Hawks. And massive game for both teams. Obviously, 2 unexperienced teams that are 2-0. They've undefeated, and a massive game for 2 big clubs. I'm going to go with the Blues to win by 7 points and watch it be an absolute classic. The Flaggers, as everyone calls them now, they're still undefeated, obviously. They beat the Bulldogs, they beat the Tigers, 2 really good teams. Now they're going to defeat the Hawks, which is a bit of an inexperienced team, a game they're expected to win. And the young Hawks are going to show promise. Obviously, Josh Ward, pretty good player. Connor McDonald, they've had a great start to their young careers. I think they will play well against a young side like the Blues. And it's going to be a very interesting game to watch. See 2 young sides go at it. St Kilda versus Richmond, Sunday twilight footy at Marvel Stadium. We've got the Richmond Tigers win by 23 points. And they should win quite comfortably. The Saints haven't looked too good recently. They obviously beat the Dockers, a comeback win up to the stadium, which is pretty good to watch. But against Collingwood, they looked absolutely horrendous. They didn't play too great against the Dockers, or actually they pretty much dominated the Dockers. But they weren't very consistent, and their kicking, they got to do better with their kicking, their accuracy. Otherwise, they'll just lose a lot of their games just based on their accuracy, because it's just a basic in footy. And Tigers, they look great versus the Greater West City Giants. They look really good. They were just dominating the last half, and they look really good. And Noah Bolter, Jaden Short, they played great versus the Giants. They'll play great against St Kilda. I reckon they'll have a great game. Short will dominate. He'll have 30-odd disposals. Bolter will kick 3+ goals. And Noah Bolter, I've really enjoyed his move up forward from the back line. He's dominating. He's got a great kick. He's got a great mark. He's pretty good with his speed and agility. So, entertaining player, and I'm really looking forward to watching him in action Saturday afternoon. And West Coast versus Fremantle, the last game of the round, the Western Derby. Really looking forward to this game, and sadly, I think that the Fremantle Dockers win by 37 points, and what should be a comfortable win by the young Dockers. Their game style is very different to West Coast. Obviously, West Coast, they've got that short kick, slow game, that they'll just kick it in their defensive 50 and wait for a turnover, wait for a stoppage, wait for a mistake by the Dockers, and they'll just capitalise on that. With the Dockers, they got a young, short kick, quick, going down the corridor, leading style. They just basically just kick it around, and then straight away they lead, they're short kicking. And they dominated West Coast in the preseason game, so that will be a very interesting matchup. And the young Eagles, they're going to look good. They look good against North Melbourne. Obviously, we're a bit depleted without basically all of our plays. We had 14 changes, a record 14 changes, which is massive. And our stopper players looked good. Our debutantes looked alright. And I'm looking forward to what should be, not looking forward to the result, but I'm looking forward to watching a game at Optus Stadium between the Eagles and the Fremantle Dockers, and it should be a good game. So yeah, thanks for watching. Comment down below what you guys think on my tips, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I guess I'll see you in the next one.